Hi guys, it's the Retail Boss. Welcome to my channel. Listen, I am getting ready to have a serious teachable moment with you guys right now. So make sure that you click that link and subscribe to my channel. Make sure that you guys hit the notification bell so that you get all the notifications of all of my videos and you don't miss out on any teaching, learning experience with me. And make sure that you guys share this video. I am getting ready to help you with a challenge that most wig makers end up crossing some kind of way, shape, or form with their clients. So in this very moment, I decided to do this because I was getting ready to provide a service to my client. As you can see, she's not here. But I said, let me get this on camera because I know that somebody could learn from this experience that I'm having as well. So basically, I made my client this wig last year sometime, okay? So this wig is kind of old. And if you notice, there's some markings here that I placed just today. She came in, she brought me her old wig back. That's what they do. They normally bring their wigs in for repairs and or for treatments. They want to revamp, cut it, style it different or whatever. So that's a service that I provide. I'm no longer behind the chair, but I still provide services to my clientele that I used to service in the salon as a wig maker now. So check the move. The bands on this wig stretched. Like, I am in complete shock because this is the first time that this has ever happened. So I don't know if it was the cap. I don't know if she warped it out. You know, our clients don't really tell us everything. So it's a possibility she could have been putting her wig on another head just to kind of like house it somewhere, maybe on a dresser, a table or whatever, and it stretched the entire outside or the outer perimeter of the cap. So what I did when I put this on her head is super small. Guys, her head size is not even the size of this 21-inch canvas head. Her head is actually the size of a foam head. And y'all know we don't make wigs with these. We don't make wigs with these. We make wigs with these. So yeah, it's totally stretched out. She probably put it on something. They don't tell us everything, so now I have to fix it. It was either I was gonna find a way to fix it or I was gonna remake this whole wig. So I kind of want to save her money and I want to save me some time because time is something you cannot get back. And I want to save her some coin. So at the end of the day, because her head is this size, I'm going to have to now revamp and fix it on this foam head. And it's only because the circumference of her head is about 19 inches. It's actually like 18 and a quarter. So y'all know that's like a child size head, right? So if you notice, I actually made a mold of her head with just some plastic and tape and stuff like that. And, you know, have some markings here. As you can see, her name is on here. So I'm gonna actually switch these two out. And I'm gonna show you guys what I've come up with as a concept to fix this wig. So when I put this on her head, it's not big here. It's just the outer perimeter. So what I did was I pulled it on, while it was on her head, I pulled it to see how big it actually was around the outer perimeter. And that's how I got those markings. So I literally took a marker and I marked on the inside of it. So I'm gonna put this back on, which is crazy that our head is this small. And you guys can see right now, like this, let me see if I can show y'all. I'm literally squeezing that much. That area is how much has to come out because that's how big the cap is at this point. Okay, so I'm gonna pin this down right at that outer perimeter. I'm just gonna put a pin in here. Now guys, I like to use regular stick pins. These stick pins like this that you can get from the craft store. The reason why I like using the stick pins because I feel like the pins that actually go in the canvas head, these ones, can actually get stuck in the lace or wrapped around the hair because it has this little slit. Now, if that's comfortable for you, you can still use that. But I'm just gonna be using the stick pins. So I'm gonna pin this around the entire perimeter, and then I'm going to be coming back in here at the bottom. And at that bottom nape area, I'm gonna pull this hair up so that I can see my markings, and I'm gonna take off the last couple of rows of tracking. So the last couple of rows at the bottom nape area, I'm gonna take those tracks off. The area where I have my markings, you guys are gonna see, I'm gonna cut that out, and then I'm gonna fuse it back together, okay? Now the stitching is gonna have to be all lock stitching and double lock stitching when you do this, okay? You have to make sure that at the ends where you cut, you also have to put some stitching in there so that doesn't unravel. That's gonna take me a little bit of time to do. So I'm gonna do a little bit of maneuvering, and I'm gonna make this video kind of go in fast forward, and then I'm gonna stop, and then I'm gonna come back and explain. But I don't want you guys to have to sit through me doing a lot of those different moves. So let me go ahead and get her pinned down all the way around, clipped up, and get those tracks out. And then I'm gonna show you guys how I go and adjust just the area with the band. It's not big in here, but it's just big and loose at the bottom. I had not seen any videos on YouTube showing you how to fix the bottom of the band, especially when you don't want to destroy the band. I've seen a lot of people do videos when the wig is too small and you want to release some of the pressure from the band, but then when you cut into the weft and cut into the band, you kind of destroy the wig and you can loosen it up. But I've seen that done. It's not my thing. So I know you're probably thinking, well, if I cut into the band, then I'm gonna take a chance of the band unraveling. So I'm gonna show you how to put some stitching in there, fuse it together, bring all those pieces together, and then we're gonna have a nice smooth surface to work with. It's gonna be much tighter around the band area. It's not gonna be any buckling or anything loose. And then we're gonna put those last like 3 or 4 tracks back in. And I know that's time consuming, but guys, that's the best way that I can think of to do this. And it's nice and smooth. It's gonna give you the strength that you're looking for around outer perimeter, and it just kind of makes sense, guys. So I'm gonna show y'all how I work my magic. This one is just a little bit different, and you might be thinking, well, what brand is that? This particular brand I'm using is Fremar, which is a professional product line, but you guys can look them up on Instagram. I'm sure they're on YouTube somewhere as well, but they are for professionals. So this is the type of brush that I am using. Also, you want to make sure that you have, okay guys, so now you see how big this band is. Like, you can really tell now how loose it is. And I mean, when I say her head is small, it's small. So this is how loose it is. And now, real talk, no lie, I kind of did the markings on the inside, which is cool. I can see them. I probably should have done them on the other side, but I guess I couldn't have because it was on her head. So there's the marks right there and right there. So I'm gonna be taking this middle section of this cap completely out. I'm gonna stitch the ends so that they don't unravel. So I'm actually gonna be like wrapping around the ends. And then I'm gonna bring those 2 pieces back together. In the middle, I might have a little seam, but it'll be really, really small and minute, so it won't make a difference, and everything will still lay flat. So you still won't be able to tell that that's kind of like what I did. So basically we're doing surgery right now on this cap. So I'm really looking forward to getting to this so you guys can see how this totally looks. And then I'm going to show you guys how I shampoo her, because I don't know if everybody understands really how to shampoo weave, wigs, curly hair, all the different textures. But when it comes to curly hair, I found a solution to keep you from tearing up the texture. That way it doesn't start to get like big and frizzy. The more and more you shampoo it and manipulate it, you won't start losing the curl pattern. So there's like a little trick that I do before I actually wet it, before I actually shampoo it, let me say that. And that's gonna be really cool. So I wanna show you guys how I do that as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and cut into the band on both sides. And I just wanna kind of move my pins just a little bit so I can make sure that it stays intact. Just like that. So, I'm gonna switch scissors here. So I'm gonna go right here and I'm gonna make that first cut. I'm gonna hold my finger there so I know exactly where I'm supposed to be. These are fabric shears, but child, they look like they need sharpening. I might just need a smaller pair as well to get in here. That's all right. We filming, so I'm not gonna stop now. I do have some others. And guess what, guys? If it's just not working, just switch off. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut right there. Find my other marking. And cut right there. So you guys see what I did here? Kind of cut into both of those. So I'm gonna move my pen. Boom and boom, okay. So I'm gonna take a little bit extra of this cap right here. I'm gonna take a little bit of extra of that out. And then we're gonna stretch this over pin and we're gonna sew, okay? So I'm gonna just take a little bit of this excess off because we don't need it. A little bit of that excess out, just like so. And then we're gonna end up bringing this piece over, just like this. And we're gonna reattach. So I'm gonna put a pin here. And put another pin here. And when I sew this, I'm gonna be able to wrap around that particular area. And I'm gonna show you, give you guys an up close so you can see exactly what this is looking like. Just like that. Okay, so same thing here. You guys see that I'm pulling that band over. Just like that. Boom. And boom. Don't ask me why I say boom, I just do. I don't know, it's a Jersey thing, I guess. All right, so if you guys noticed, we basically just resized the bottom of the whole cap. And as you can see, it's gonna fit nice and smooth. There's not gonna be a whole lot of issues going on right there because we're gonna sew those tracks right back in here. But before I do, I'm gonna stitch around these two parts. So this part and this part that we cut, we're gonna stitch into that so it stays nice and flat all the way around the outside so that those little pieces don't fray off, okay? And then I'm also gonna go back in here and reinforce this stitching of the cap because we cut into it. So you wanna reinforce that. So I'm gonna go right in here and sew from here all the way to here. I'm gonna put another stitch there on top of what was there because I cut into it. Now I've made the cap weak and now we gotta go ahead and reinforce that, guys. So if you notice, much tighter, much tighter. Nothing's loose here. Nothing's loose, nothing. Nothing, you hear that snap back? That's what you want. You want that thing to snap back, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead on and speed this up. Oh, I had a little hole right there. Not a hole, but just from where I cut into, I'm actually gonna put another pin right there. So let me show you guys that real quick. Boom. Done. All right, y'all see? This is really, really easy. So, and I'm gonna be 100 with you. I have fixed some caps before, but before I had the little strap in the back. So because my client likes this type of cap, I didn't have that option to take that and readjust that in another way. So I had to kind of like really think, and I said to myself, this is gonna work, and I wanna show you guys how to do it as well. So I'm gonna speed up my time and move a little bit fast and show y'all what the end result looks like. Okay, so I kind of changed my mind. I want to show y'all this, and then I'll speed it up. So I'm going to start this off. I'm going to show y'all this real quick. So notice you can knot the end of your thread. It's totally up to you. I am using nylon thread, and I like to use the longer hooks because I have long nails, so that kind of helps me. And you can knot if you want to knot. Other than that, you don't have to knot. A lot of times I don't knot the ends because my nails are too long, so I just triple stitch over top where I start. That way, I know my stitch is locked in. So that's totally up to you how you do that. So I'm gonna be coming right back in here, guys. Matter of fact, I'm gonna start at the top. And I'm gonna work my way down because I can see exactly what I cut into. So if you're not going to, oops, I just got caught up. But see, you know what? We ain't even gonna edit this. We ain't gonna edit this. I'm gonna just let y'all see how you do what you do. Because I don't know what just happened just then, but I got caught up. I got caught up on this towel. So that's fine. That's not a problem. So I'm coming back in this area. And like I said, I want to reinforce that stitch before I move any further. And it's already coming together, guys. It's already coming together. So basically, I'm creating a little small seam that's going to go down into the area where I've, like I said, previously cut, which y'all saw me do. And so I'm just going to reinforce this and bring this all the way together, all the way down, making sure that I catch all the areas that I cut into. Okay, that's important. So now I'm actually going around that outside of that band that I cut and reattached. Okay, coming back in here, and I'm just regular lock stitching. But I'm gonna come on and throw a couple of double lock stitches in there just to make sure that my thread is nice and strong in that area. So when it comes to the pins, just kind of sew around the pins. Like just get your needle to just stay where you need it to be and just go around the pin. Don't take the pin out. I know that could be tempting, but don't take the pin out. And so every other stitch, I'm gonna throw in a double lock stitch, okay? So again, making sure you reinforce the area before you move, don't move. So I just put a double lock stitch in there. And when I go to the next one, that next stitch is gonna be another lock stitch. What's a lock stitch? A lock stitch is when you go in between the two pieces of the thread. So that means you bring your needle in to the area where you wanna be. You have two pieces. You bring your needle in the middle of the two pieces, just like so. And now you're gonna pull your needle through the middle of that circle. And that's considered a lock stitch, okay? So now I'm gonna come back in here, lock stitch, but this time when I pull my needle through, I'm gonna come up and bring my needle up in the middle of that circle again, or that hole, and pull it through. That's gonna give me a double lock stitch. So when it goes all the way down, it's basically gonna be two stitches on top of each other. And that's what you want to do. You want to reinforce this as much as you possibly can. Again, go around the pins. Don't let it tempt you to take them out because your whole mess will definitely start moving. And that is not what you need. All right, so now I'm getting to the bottom of that area that we cut. And like I said, we want to make sure we reinforce that. And I'm getting close to the edge. And this pin is in the way. So I'm just going to take it out and boom, put it right back in. Because I don't want to remove it. I need it to still stay in the same spot. And to make sure that those ends don't come frayed, like I said, you want to make sure that you really stitch it nice and tight and close together. So I'm pretty much there. I'm kind of like at the end of that. So I'm gonna go underneath it, right at that bottom, and I'm gonna come back in, and I'm gonna actually do this 3 times. So I'm gonna do a triple lock stitch. And guys, you won't be able to see this stitching because you're gonna have tracks on top of it, but you still have a nice smooth seam, okay? You still have a nice smooth seam. So that's one side of it done. And I'm gonna show y'all up close what that looks like. So let's go ahead and get rid of like this excess thread over here so you guys can get a nice clear view of what I've done. Look how smooth that is. Look how nice, smooth that seam is. Nice and flat, okay? And again, there's gonna be tracking here, so it's not that big of a deal. And your client can't feel it. It feels like the seam, the original seam that was already in the wig. So it's just, you're just reinforcing that stitch. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and move this quicker because I'm gonna go ahead and knock this part out on this side. And then I'm gonna come across and reinforce right in here in this middle on this stitch right here, because again, this is now weak. We need to make sure we make that strong. I'm also gonna come along the bottom and add another stitching. So when I move from this side to this side, I'm actually gonna stitch, I'm gonna lock stitch all the way across until I get here. And then I'm gonna work my way up. So y'all notice on this side, I work my way from the top to the bottom. And now I'm working my way across, and then I'm gonna work my way back up to the top. Okay, and then we'll go back across again. Okay, y'all get it? That's the rhythm, that's the vibe. You got this, you can do this. This was such a learning experience. I could not let this go by. Reinforcing your wig cap when it does what? Lose all of its strength, okay? So let's go ahead and move forward so I can show you guys my next steps and what I do. I don't want you guys to have to watch me sew all the tracking back in, so I'm probably gonna speed that up. But once I'm finished doing this side and this side, I'm gonna stop, we're gonna talk back, and then I'm gonna speed the video up, and we're gonna move forward, because this right here, this raises the bar. I don't care what nobody say. When you can provide these types of services to your clients, they are not going to anyone else. Like, real talk, nobody else. I just serviced a new client today. She was getting wigs made. None of the wigs were fitting. I showed her how I do my technique to make sure that the wig's gonna fit properly, and she was so happy she started crying. That's the kind of results you want, so you will have a client for what? For life. Okay, guys, so I want you guys to see how smooth that looks. Nice and smooth, reinforced here. We went down both sides of the seam. Also came across the bottom, and anything that's excess, you can just trim off. Boom, done deal. All right, so I'm gonna go back in here and let's just get these tracks added back so we can get her shampooed and see how fabulous she looks in the end. And I'm gonna be talking to you guys also about the products that I'm using. As you can see, I have a lot of products on my shelf over here. And throughout the course of me doing these different videos, I'm gonna be reaching into my retail shelf, showing you which products that I use, showing you products that I recommend to my clients, and products that you can retail to your clients as well. Now, I don't retail all of these lines, but most of them I like for different purposes, and it depends on the texture of the hair. So I will carry some I don't carry, but I try my best to do what I can. I'll make sure that you guys get the information and the links in the descriptions below. That way you can find these great products as well. But I'm gonna actually be using Matrix today, guys. So you just hold tight. Let me get that in there and we're gonna move on because this bad boy is looking lovely. All right, guys, so as you can see, all my tracks are sewn back in, all the way down to the bottom, and we are now nice and tight, no buckling, nice and smooth still in the middle. So now, let's talk about this shampoo process. What I do before I shampoo any curly hair, especially like super curly hair like this, you wanna make sure you wet it first. Why am I telling you to wet it first? This is gonna sound retarded. Why am I gonna wet hair prior to me taking it to the shampoo bowl or shampooing it at my sink or whatever? The reason why is because this hair can get very, very matted. And most of our clients, they don't comb it, they don't brush it, they don't get any of the tangles out. She brought this to me in a bag. Like, our clients just really don't take care of their hair extensions and or their wigs. And I try to relay that information over and over and over, how important it is to treat this hair like it is your hair on your head. But no matter how much I say that, they still are gonna do what they wanna do. So she was in a bag, balled up, and you guys already know how this is. If you take this hair and put it in the shampoo bowl and wet it and call yourself trying to shampoo it, it's gonna turn into one big old dreadlock, because you are not getting rid of any of the loose hairs that could possibly be shedding off in between. And because it's so curly, I can kind of feel my fingers through this part of just in this area right here alone, in the nape area where I put these tracks back in it. As you can see, in some areas, my fingers are getting tangled, right? Because there's some knots in here. So what you want to do is you just want to pre-saturate it. That way you can get out any tangles before you put shampoo on it, or you're gonna have a hot mess and nobody has time for that. So I'm just gonna be wetting the sections, running my fingers through it, and as you can see, look at that, dead hairs. And I'm gonna say this to you guys, this wig is a year old and she's never been combed, she's never been brushed. My client said she was just scared to mess with it, so she just was, I don't know what she was doing, so I'm not even gonna sit here and lie. I don't know what she was doing. I can't even tell you what she did. But what I am gonna do is first run my fingers through it as I wet it. I like these types of spray bottles because they continue to give you mist. I actually got this spray bottle from Fremar. Fremar, thank you. I'm always talking about you guys. You send me some really nice tools and I'm using them effectively. So I like these type of spray bottles because of that. It gives you just a nice mist. And I'm gonna kind of finger through it to get through some of these tangles, and then I'm gonna go through with my wet brush. Do you guys have a wet brush? You may not have ever heard of a wet brush, so you might be like, I don't know what the heck that is. So I'm about to show you. Now I use a couple of different tools when it comes to detangling. The reason why I like this wet brush, and again, Fremar, thank you Fremar, y'all the bomb.com. The reason why I like this brush is because the bristles are so skinny, so it helps you really get through the hair. Has these little ballies on the end, so that way you won't snag and grab that hair. I like this better than a regular paddle brush because these are thicker. These bristles are thicker, and sometimes the hair still get caught. But this one, these bristles are a lot more flexible. See that? It's a lot more flexible than this one. This one is kind of hard, but hey, this is my blow drying brush, so you guys got to know what tools to use with what. Now I do like to use the big paddle brush like this on wavy textured hair, especially if I'm blowing it out, or if I'm just drying it, blowing it out, or if I want to kind of like get rid of this texture and give it a different texture, I will go through and use my paddle brush and loosen the hair out to give me a different effect. So I also have one of these other little brushes that a lot of you guys probably have seen that kind of have the separations as well. So I can kind of go back and forth between these two, but I really am in love with this wet brush. So what you want to do is make sure that you start at the ends. And I'll put the links, guys, for you guys to be able to go to these websites and purchase some of these tools. You can also retail these tools to your clients. My clients actually have paddle brushes and combs and things of that nature. They even have wet brushes. But this particular client right here, she just won't do what I need her to do. So that's fine. Because when my clients bring me their wigs like this for me, like I'm gonna shampoo her, and I'm also gonna like treat her. I'm gonna do like a protein treatment on her. So now my clients get to pay me to do that. So this service by itself is, because there's no, like, not really any styling involved, this is a $65 service. So my client brought me this. I fixed this band, which I'm gonna charge her an additional $35, $45 for that. And then an additional $65 to shampoo and treat her wig. And like I said, there's no styling. If there was styling involved, because really my finishing product is gonna be like some type of foam and leave-in conditioner. But if I was styling her, that would be like an additional $45, $55, $65, something like that. So that is how you build your service tickets as a stylist that does wigs and hair extensions. So for me, I'm a wig maker. And so because this is all I do now, and I'm no longer behind the chair, and you guys know I talked to you guys before about, you know, how I do government contracting for beauty industry professionals. I have a course on that I teach for you guys, but I retired from behind that chair, and I now service the government with extensions, with hair extensions, prosthetic hair pieces and things of that nature for clients or veterans who have experienced hair loss from being in the military. So yeah, I do that as well. So I'm no longer behind the chair, but my clients that I serviced for a very long time, because I moved to Atlanta and they were still in Charleston, they still wanted to be able to get like weave and wig services done by me. So I just convinced everybody to allow me to make wigs for them because they like my services so much. So I don't even have to be in the same state to still service them. And when it's time for their wigs to be repaired, they just send them to me. They just send them to me. I repair them, I treat them and condition them, and I send them back. And I'm able to make my coin quickly and effectively, and I charge them for shipping as well. When they get that, a lot of them need retail products, so I will also send them the retail products in their boxes as well. If it's something new that I want them to use, I will send them a sample. And then when I send them the sample, they try it, they like it, and then they just basically contact me for the retail product. So they're getting everything from me. I'm making money all the way across the board, and you should be too. So as you guys can see, this wet brush, it really glides through the hair really well. Doesn't destroy the curl pattern. You can tell the curl pattern is not destroyed, right? But I feel like if you use the paddle brush, I feel like it really tears the hair up. I feel like those bristles don't have any give. And so because of that, that causes that problem. But you see how nice and pretty that is? So I'm gonna go through, I'm gonna section this off. I'm gonna be wetting her down and getting her ready for her shampoo service. Now, how I do my shampoos is probably a little different than most. Because I do my work from home, I actually just use a little tub, and I put the shampoo in the tub, and then I kind of dunk my wigs. I dunk. I don't do a whole lot of wrestling and scrubbing and all of that. No, I dunk that hair, and I put the shampoo on it and dunk it. And you have to be gentle. Like, you cannot be rough with the hair. These hairs are on a track, and we got to make sure we remember that these tracks can become loose. And when they become loose, it's because you're being too rough with it. And before you know, your client's like, my wig is shedding, my wig is shedding. You're gonna have some natural shedding, guys. That's just wear and tear. But what you don't want to do is be destroying people's wigs because you're being so rough with it, or they're being rough with it. You need to train them how to do it at home, or they just need to simply bring it to you. So I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna do this off camera, and I'm gonna come back when it's time to shampoo, and then we're gonna go from there because I want you guys really to see how I do my shampoo process. All right, guys, so as you can see, she's been shampooed, but I want you guys to take a look at something. So she's been shampooed. She's ready to be conditioned, but as you can see, she's really still dry. Look at that. She's very dry. So before I even put any conditioner on her, I can still tell that she needs some tender, loving moisture, okay? So you see my curl pattern is beautiful. We're gonna leave this hair dripping because we don't wanna dry all the moisture out before applying our conditioner. And how we're gonna apply our conditioner, I'm using the Curl Please again by Matrix, which has jojoba oil in it. That's gonna be your selling point for your clients with this if you're gonna retail this to them as well. And I'm gonna start applying my conditioner by scrunching it in, scrunch it in, okay? Don't take your conditioner and just lay it on the top of the hair. You gotta work it in those curls. Work it in. So massage it in, scrunch it in, whatever you wanna call it. Start at the ends first and work your way up to the mid shaft. That feels really, really nice. And you wanna leave some water still in the hair, not dripping wet, but you still want it to be still pretty, you know, a nice amount of water still in the hair because this is curly hair, so it needs moisture. We don't need to towel dry her. Okay, so now I'm gonna come up mid shaft. Make sure you get in between because this is a lot of hair, okay? So I'm going in here and I'm applying mid shaft. Why am I applying it this way with a rhythm? Because I want to make sure that every area of the hair gets saturated. And we're going to work our way up to the crown in a minute. So you just want to massage that in. Keep scrunching, keep scrunching. Okay? So if you notice, this is really going into the hair shaft well. You don't see a whole lot of cream because I'm actually working that product in the hair, working that conditioner in the hair. This is the same thing you would do if you had a client in your chair in the salon at the shampoo bowl. You would do the same thing. Work the product in. You have to teach your clients how to do that. And their experience that they're having with you in the salon in that moment is a teaching experience. Your chair is your stage. So make sure that you put on a performance so that by the time you're done with them, they're like, I need all those products. Okay? So now I'm going to take the last little bit up to the top and I'm going to apply it in the crown area. Crown. And you want to work it through. So as you can see, I'm going to come to the hairline and I'm going to apply and work it through. Again, scrunch it through the hair. Do not just apply it to the top of the hair strands and you're not working it in because it will not get into the hair strands. You really have to work the product. I think a lot of times we're scared to, you know, really work the product and we expect for it to work and do something. And then when it doesn't do what we expected, then we blaming the product versus blaming our application of that particular product. Okay. This is a curl product. And as I'm doing this now, we're going to comb this through, but I can see in a couple of areas right here in the front, still very dry. So I'm going to add a little bit more conditioner here. Right here in this front area. And what you guys can do is once you get all the conditioner through, work through, and you comb it through really, really well, you definitely can put her under a dryer if you want. You can put her under a dryer. You could do the steam towel if you don't have a dryer. I have both. So it's kind of like your preference. But if you take a hot towel, if you don't have a hot towel steamer, you can actually just take a towel, this size right here, fold it in half, wet it, roll it up, put it in your microwave for 1 minute. Then take it out, loosen that steam, wrap your wig, put your plastic cap on it, and just let it sit for 10 minutes. And that'll deep condition it all by itself. Okay? So I'm gonna go back in with my wet brush. And I'm just gonna work it through the sections. Matter of fact, no, I'm gonna use my large tooth comb and I'm gonna start working it through the sections. And while I'm working it through the sections, I'm being extremely gentle with the hair. You don't wanna pull on the hair, okay? So this large tooth comb, I'm gonna work it from the ends all the way up. And when I get to the top, I just wanna kind of pull the hair out just a little bit and gently comb through that top section, because that is where it's so dry. And I don't know what my client did or didn't do. It's a possibility she did not use the retail products that I sold her. And again, we don't know what these clients do with their hair. You know what I'm saying? We could tell them to do X, Y, Z. They're gonna do what they want to do. But when you have to have that conversation with them and let them know why their ticketed price has gone up because of now all the things I had to do to bring that hair back, to snap that hair back, they gonna get a clue. Like, she gonna get a clue when she see this bill, because I've made some adjustments. I've now conditioned the hair. I've shampooed the hair, which that's a process all by itself. You know, it was a lot of work what I did. So we're gonna be looking at a nice little ticket. Okay, so as you can see, I have this side done, so it's kind of combed through. I'm gonna go ahead and transfer over and use my wet brush, because I see a little bit more tangles right here in the front. There we go. There we go. And again, be careful. Do not pull and stretch the hair out too much. Like, I still want it to have its bounce. Okay, so you can see a clear difference already just from me doing that from this side. And then look at this side. It's already, the curl pattern is already starting to change, snap back to its normal, you know, curl pattern. I mean, it's still curly, but with that conditioner, you can tell the conditioner is really working here, okay? So I'm gonna finish working this through. Let me make sure I don't have it. There we go. I think I had it stuck on that one side. And so use your fingers to just kind of help you work the product and pull it, kind of hold it, not pull it, but just kind of hold it out. So that way you can really get in there and detangle it, you know what I'm saying, really well. So what I like to do is kind of have it in sections like this. So I'm gonna take this one section. Now that we're good to go, she is detangled with the conditioner. The conditioner has set in really well. So I'm gonna clip this side up. So as I work my way around, so this is section 1, section 2, 3, and then 4. As I work these sections, I'm gonna clip them up. That way the heat can penetrate evenly through the hair strands while it's being conditioned, okay? So I'm just gonna kind of just fold that over and just clip it. And it's gonna stay just like that. So that way when I wrap it with that steam towel, all the ends of the hair, all the strands and all the ends of the hair is going to get a good balance and moisturized with that heat. It's gonna seal everything in. If you keep it hanging too low and you try to put a bag on it or you try to wrap it, you won't have a good even distribution of that heat. So that's the reason why we want to do that. Okay, so I am coming in the top here and I'm just kind of loosening up the tangles in the top because, like I said, it's so thirsty. It's just doing its own thing. So you got to use your tools, So as you can see, I'm not pulling it here. I'm just getting those little knots from the top. And then you can see all of that still has to be detangled. So now you're going to come back in and work the ends up to the scalp area. Okay. So you see how easy that was? Look how easy I detangled that. Boom, done. Put that to the side. So now I'm gonna work this section back here, right? So I'm gonna come back in, and as you can see, it has a little bit of shedding. Why? Because my client put this hair in a freaking bag and had not shampooed it in God knows when. So now this hair is like, yo, I need some help. I need some help here. Okay, so now I'm gonna work from the ends all the way up to mid shaft again. Same thing. Repeat the same process, okay? So if I see an area that's still kind of stuck with some areas that won't detangle, I wanna kind of go in with that wet brush. Don't pull. Take it vertically. Bring it in. Now you're gonna come back to the ends because you don't wanna just pull and yank, because then you're gonna do what? You're gonna pull hair out. And boom, there we go. Nice and detangled. Just like that. It's just that simple, okay? So we wanna make sure we repeat this process all the way around until we get the conditioner all the way through. I'm not really jerking, guys. It's just that my stand is a little janky. So I want to make sure that I get it all the way through those ends. So as you can see, that conditioner is in those ends really well. You should see the conditioner in those ends, okay? So again, I'm going to kind of twist it, and I'm going to clip her up on this side again, okay? So make sure you guys get you some good claw clips, because that's going to really help you to hold the hair in place while you're doing a lot of this work, guys. Like, this is like a whole project, for real, for real. And you want to make sure you have the right tools, because these claw clips kind of help to hold the hair in place a little bit better than regular clips. You can use butterfly. I'm not gonna front. I still be using butterfly. We go old school with it sometimes. It just depends on the situation, okay? So again, I'm just gonna clip this hair out the way, but oh yeah, clips, Fremar. I can't get rid of those boys tonight, right? So again, we're gonna make sure that we detangle lightly. That section was really good. So that conditioner is working. So you see, the longer we let this conditioner sit, the more it is working, okay? It's working. You just gotta do it section by section. And if there's any areas that you feel like you need a little bit more detangling, pick up your wet brush, okay? Pick up your wet brush. I like to start with that wet brush on the ends and working my way up vertically. We're so ready to just kind of go in this way horizontally with our brush, but I learned with longer hair and with textured hair to keep from pulling so much. You want to kind of go in long ways, and that will help you detangle it really quickly, and it's less stress on the hair, okay? So I'm gonna clip this up. Again, this is just what I do. You guys do what is comfortable for you, but this works really well. So as you can see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4 sections. I'm now working the last section. I'm gonna come back in the top and just loosen up that root area. I'm not pulling, guys, I'm just loosening it up. I'm allowing my teeth of my comb to do the action for me. I'm just loosening it up, so that way I can come behind it with my wet brush, because it's just so dry. It's so dry. She needed some serious tender loving care. Like, I'm gonna have to have a really good conversation with my client, because this just should not be the case. And she buys retail products. I really don't understand. So it's not gonna be an easy conversation to have. Sometimes these conversations are hard, but when they see that ticket though, you're gonna know what time it is when you see that ticket, sis. And you're gonna be like, why was this so much? Well, look at all the things I had to do to it, because you didn't take care of your hair. Like, you just totally neglected your hair. And like I said, people do that because they don't really pay attention that the weave is, I mean, at the end of the day, when you are in the stylist chair, and this is just for somebody that's watching as a customer or a client, you have to listen to your stylist, okay? You really have to listen to your stylist. You gotta pay attention to the conversation. And if you feel like you missed something, then you definitely need to ask questions with your stylist about what is it that I need to do to keep my hair intact, because I've already made a huge investment in this hair. So it's your job to teach them. They don't know, they're gonna go to YouTube. They're gonna be looking for people like me who is teaching other people in our industry how to go about doing this. All right, so now that I have that worked through really well, I'm gonna focus on these ends and work my way up to the mid shaft again, and we're done. Like, we're pretty much done, okay? So again, use your brush vertically. Don't pull too hard. And it's amazing, because I just love the way, you know, once you get it through, look at the curls. They're popping, okay? All right, so now I'm just gonna twist all of this up. I'm gonna put my towel. Don't have no more steam to it, because it took me so long just to talk you guys through this. I just wanna make sure that I'm giving you guys like all the information. I know sometimes people don't like long YouTube videos, so I'm definitely going to be putting some timestamps so that you can kind of like watch what it is that you want to watch. I would hope that you would watch the whole video though, since I am in the beauty industry as a stylist teaching you something, but that's up to you. All right, so here's all our sections, and all you're gonna do is wrap with your steam towel. You can do one or two ways. I mean, it's not a client, so you can just go ahead and just put it on just like this if you want to, and just clip it. You can just clip it. Okay, so those old school clips still come in handy. And then let that sit on for 10 minutes. Make sure that it's nice and tight, because we want the conditioner to really impede into all the hair strands. Okay, so I'm probably gonna use like 2 of these butterfly clips. Okay, so this is how we should be looking at this point. Make sure that it's fully wrapped. Okay, make sure that it is fully wrapped. So that means you need another clip. No problem, just go ahead and get that situated like that. And let that sit for 10 minutes. If you want a little extra like heat, you can put a plastic cap on it and you could just let it sit for the 10 minutes. And then after that, we're just gonna rinse her out and we're going to apply whatever products that you like to use. Matrix has a really good line of products. I'm just a fan of some other things. So it's hard for me to stick with one line for everything because I feel like some of the components are missing this and missing that because I'm so into the science of what it is that I do. So I do use a variety. So I'm gonna come back with some other products to use to style her out. It's not gonna be Matrix, it's gonna be something else. However, Matrix does have a really good leave-in conditioner as well. So if that's something you wanna try, you definitely can try it. I definitely recommend it. But I am gonna come back with another product to style her out. That's just my thing. I can't help it, guys. So don't beat me up. I know product lines, you know, when you're working for them, they kind of just want you to push one product, or when they see the videos, they want you just to push one product, but I just got to do what I do. I'm just a very creative person. So that's what it is. So we're going to come back and style her out. So you guys will see that next. Hey guys, I'm back and I just want you to see how beautifully these curls turned out after deep conditioning this wig with the Matrix products. And I'm gonna put all the links down in the description box so you guys can also invest in some of those products. So like I said, when it comes to styling, I like to use a whole lot of different things. That might be a bad thing, I don't know, but I can only tell y'all what works for me. And I think I'm gonna do a YouTube video and just go over what's like in my beauty retail bag when it comes to products and kind of give y'all the 411 on some of my favorite things. So the line that I'm gonna be using to style this particular curly hair wig is gonna be Kinks and Curls. And I'm gonna put the, like I said, the information down in the description box so you guys can check these products out too. So I'm gonna start off with their leave-in conditioner. What I like about this leave-in is it's nice and thick. It's almost like a gel consistency. So what I find about this, you don't have to use a lot of it, and it also has oils in it as well. So that's what I like. It's gonna give the hair a nice shine. But as you can see, when it sprays out, it doesn't spray out thick and heavy, right? Because it's really not, it's really lightweight. I like to make sure I saturate the ends really well, because y'all know the ends is where all the dryness, especially with curly hair, tends to be, and that's what causes the frizz. So I just want to make sure that I'm saturating, make sure y'all can see me, all the way down to those ends really well. Making sure that I'm going in between. Okay, like I said, you don't have to use a lot of it. It's pretty concentrated. And so I just want to kind of come back through and brush it in. And you can see how those curls are just loving it. They just love that. You can just feel it. Okay, so after I get all the leave-in conditioner combed through, I'm about to knock my whole camera down. after I get the leave-in conditioner all the way through. And my client does like to have baby hairs. Baby hairs are not my favorite. I don't particularly like them a lot, but when it comes to your clients, you got to give them what they want. So I'm gonna actually go through and swirl those out. But yeah, make sure I get those too. All right. And again, I like to use Framar's detangler brush because these little ballies do not snag the hair. And this is just one of my favorite brushes that I like to use. So again, I'm gonna put everything y'all need down there in that little box, okay? So now I'm gonna go in with the Kingston Curls Luxe Curl Butter. So we went from leave-in to curl butter, okay? And I'm not gonna cross-contaminate. I'm gonna use a little brush. And I'm gonna get an ample amount. This is enough. I think sometimes we can overdo it when it comes to products. We can put too much products in the hair and weigh it down, or the hair will just start acting up because you just put too many products in and it'll start like being funky. And sometimes the products don't get all the way through the hair strands. So you wanna make sure that you evenly distribute this. So I'm going to just emulsify it in my hand. And this is what we all need to learn when it comes to products, to make sure we emulsify the product in our hand. I also put it through my fingers because I'm gonna kind of like finger comb this through the hair as well. And we wanna make sure we get through all of the hair strands and we're not just slapping the product on the top of the hair. So I always start at the ends first, just like so. Start at the ends, start at the ends. Why we start at the ends? Because the ends is where the hair is most porous. And that means it's gonna soak up a lot of that product, right? And then you'll be able to evenly distribute it throughout the hair. And that's why I like to put it all the way through my fingers like that. So I can just kind of like rub my fingers through the hair, get the product on, and it's getting all the way through, okay? So we already know, like with curly hair, we kind of let curly hair air dry. Now, can you use a diffuser? You definitely can. To me, when it comes to wigs, if my client is coming like in a rush or something like that to pick up their wig, I may sit it under a dryer, a hood dryer, or use a diffuser. But if it's not that type of situation, I just kind of let it air dry by itself overnight and let the product just kind of, you know what I'm saying, sit in and do its own thing. This particular client, she really doesn't wear a part, so I just want to make sure in the front area I'm not pulling to like one side. So I want to go ahead and position the hair in the direction that I want it to go in after I get the product fully through, okay? And like I said, she doesn't really wear a part. She kind of like lets it be free and she kind of lets it fall to this side. So as you can see, I don't have any creamy product still left in the hair. It has absorbed into the hair strands pretty well, okay? So now I'm gonna come behind with my last product. Well, kind of, sort of. Well, no, I think I'm still gonna come through with like the shine product as well. So I'm gonna kind of wipe my hands off just a little bit. And I'm gonna come behind it with the Kingston Curls Luxe Curl Shaper Gel, okay? So leave-in conditioner, cream first, and then gel, okay? And the reason why, oh, my hands are wet. The reason why I'm using a gel is because I want to elongate these curls as much as I possibly can and not have as much shrink. So in order to do that, I need to make sure that I'm using a product that is going to go into the hair strands, and when I'm kind of like pulling it through and elongating those curls, that gel is going to kind of lock those curls in place, so that way I won't have as much shrinkage. Now, do you have to use that? You don't. It depends on your client. It depends on you, okay? So I'm just going to go through again. Ample amount, same amount. Guys, you don't have to use a lot of product, okay? A little goes a long way. And again, I'm gonna do the same thing. Get it through my fingers. emulsify the product. When you emulsify the product, it adds like heat to it and it stretches your product out, okay? And again, starting at the ends, saturating from the ends first, and working your way through the hair strands. I think it's so important to make sure that you know how to properly use your product when it comes to wigs, because I think like I said, we can overdo it. So I hope this video is helping you get some education on, you know, dealing with product and also fixing the issue of your wig band being stretched out and too big and you having to resize it for yourself or for your particular client, okay? And so what I'm gonna do is, again, just kind of position the hair the way that I want it to go. And the great thing about once this dries, the curls are just going to really stay in place. And that's what you want. You want your curls to stay elongated and stay in place and not frizz out, okay? So I am gonna go through and add a little bit of shine product while it's still wet, and then when it's dry, you can also add shine product as well. It's definitely your preference, depending on the type of product that you are using. And y'all know I got a lot of products back here, right? So I'm gonna be using, again, the Kinky Curls Luxe Shine Glosser. Now I'm gonna tell you something, this is concentrated. You ain't got to use a whole lot of this. So what I like to do is you wanna spray the product in the air, maybe 10 inches away from the head, and let the product fall onto the hair. That way you're not saturating the hair with the product, like spraying it directly on, okay? So you just wanna mist, let it fall, spray, mist, let it fall on the hair strands itself, mist, let it fall, ends, mist, let it fall. Same thing all the way around. Mist and let it fall. That is so key and it's so important, because I think we could just overdo it when it comes to product, okay? And you already know, you know, when you're doing baby hairs and things of that nature, you just want to make sure you have the right tools. So these little brushes work really well. I'm gonna take some of the gel. Now there is a gel and also an edge control that this product line has. So it's really up to you and your client, like what your client's needs are, what they like. I like to use the gel to just swoop around on the baby hairs. She doesn't do a whole lot of definition when it comes to baby hairs, so it's not like a whole lot of bunch of like little squigglies or anything else like that I have to do. She literally just kind of just does a little bit, not a whole lot. And I think when you're a grown woman, you shouldn't be going heavy on baby hairs. It's just not cute, and it's too much. Like I'm in my 40s, so what I look like wearing a whole lot of baby hair around my outer perimeter of my hairline, it's just like way too much. The younger generation, y'all go ahead, do your thing. I ain't hating, I ain't mad. It just ain't for me, okay? All right, so I'm gonna go ahead on and, like I said, just kind of swoop this a little bit, little whoop-de-whoop. She don't do a whole lot when it comes to her the edges on her baby hair. She just does very little bit, okay? So you just wanna make sure that you're not overdoing it with the product, because you don't need a lot of product. You just simply don't. And guys, that is literally it. That is it. She kind of wears this coming forward a little bit right here in the front, and on this side she kind of leaves it, you know, kind of like that going back. And that's pretty much, you know, it. And like I said, you can always go in with a diffuser if you want to, or you can let it air dry if you want to, or you can put it under a hood dryer if you want to. It is totally a preference. But as you can see, this hair is beautiful. We fixed the problems, and now it's just drying and she'll be ready to go. So thank you guys for joining me for another YouTube tutorial and also education on how to fix some of your problems when it comes to wigs. I'm gonna be doing more of these videos, bringing you guys all the different products that I find work really, really well when it comes to wigs, especially if you are a hairstylist and you're looking for the right products, because every product doesn't work well on wigs. These wigs are all different textures. We do a lot of different things to them. We process them. I did a video, if you guys didn't see, make sure you check out my other video that I did when I retexturized a wig. So one of my clients had a curly haired wig that she had for a while. It started losing its curl, and I actually did a perm on it. Yes, I said it, a perm, a permanent wave. And I show you how to go through the steps of, you know, riding that hair up, bringing that hair back to life, guys. You do not have to throw your curly wigs away. If your curly wigs start getting crazy on the ends, looking super raggedy, do not throw them away. You can literally do a protein treatment on the hair. You can reformulate the curl, and before you know it, you have like a brand new wig all over again. So I'm going to be teaching you guys more about that. So make sure that you guys like this video. Make sure you subscribe to the RetailBoss YouTube channel, and make sure y'all share, because your girl out here trying to, you know, bring the education from a different level as a licensed cosmetologist. So thank you guys for joining me so much. I can't wait to see what you guys bring to the table. Make sure that y'all leave some comments and let me know how this worked out for you if you tried it. Let me know. And if you guys have some comments or questions, leave them down there in the comments, and I'll make sure that I get back to you with an answer. So thank you guys so much. All the products that I use, I'll be leaving all the information down in the description so you guys can check out the products too, and let them know the RetailBoss sent you. I'll see you guys soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.